If and when you guys come into the building for the preview days, you'll notice that there's hand sanitizer everywhere. There's literally a little dispenser outside of each of the doorways. And that's just because we want to make sure it's accessible. We want to make sure that you guys are using it frequently, and really just building that into your everyday programming routine. Wipe downs. So you guys have noticed when you guys come on site, it would be 3 hours versus the 4 hours. Right now, it's going to be the 3 hours, and that's just because we want to have enough time to, clean, sanitize, really get in there in between each of the sessions, and making sure we have time to do those types of things. My goal is to incorporate it into all of the group's activities and, getting them used to those types of routines, but I do want to make sure that we're giving that, extra wipe down in between sessions. Safety precautions, you can never have too many of them. So let's talk more about health checks, follow-ups, what have you. Anybody who is experiencing COVID-19 symptoms should stay home. They should not come into the building, whether it's a coach, whether it's a member, whether it's myself. If you guys are showing any signs or symptoms, you should stay home. Anybody who happens to contract COVID-19 will be required to self-isolate or stay at home for 10 to 14 days until their fever has gone away in the past 72 hours without any type of medication. If for any reason a member were to develop a fever while on site, we would immediately isolate that member from the rest of the members. We would call that member's home, family, home staff, whomever, and we would expect that member to be picked up within the hour. We would isolate them. There's a room here at Artesia. There would be another one at Rosecrans. They would be with a coach, obviously, but we want to make sure that we're separating them to make sure that we're trying to mitigate as much of any type of exposure as possible. Again, that 1 hour window is when you guys would be expected to come and pick them up. Staff won't be transporting anybody who's exhibiting any type of COVID symptoms. I know in the past we've taken members home when they're not feeling well or when they've had a rough day or what have you, but anybody who's experiencing those types of symptoms will expect the home to come and pick them up. Again, we just want to make sure that we're doing things safely, not only for our members, but for our coaches as well. So let's talk face masks. We get to wear them all the time. It's a good time. You will be expected to wear a cloth or a disposable mask. If you can't wear one, that's something that we're trying to work on. But if we get to a point where it's just, it's not happening or it's not happening as quickly or what have you, then we may need to have a discussion. Is in-person programming something that's a good fit for you right now? That goes the same for hand washing and just making sure, again, we want to make sure everybody is safe. And so if we have to have those conversations later, we will, but our goal is to, bring everybody back and being able to kind of work on those things first. I have a cloth mask that I wear. We do have some surgical masks here on site. Those are those regular blue and white ones. We have some extras available. So if something were to happen to any of the members' masks, we have extras. But members will be responsible for their own masks. We'll definitely help them, put it on and off if, they need support with those types of things and making sure that they're wearing it properly. Hand washing. So we want to make sure that we're doing this frequently. Again, this may be a skill that we need to work on together. That's totally fine. But the goal is to make sure that, we're washing our hands when we're, going from one room to the next, or when we're cooking, or after we've used the restroom. And so just making sure that, we're not spreading things where we don't need to spread things. Again, if members are having difficulty with that, we've got lots of hand sanitizer here, and us just being able to work on these goals to eventually get to a point where we can kind of master some of these skills on our own. Members will still be allowed to have snack. So we're still going to have snack time, which is great. So you bring your own snacks, your own lunches, whatever you want to bring. But we are asking that you bring in your own water bottle when you're on site, and then we can fill it with one of the dispensers that we have here, just so that way you're drinking out of the same one. It's your bottle, And I know some of us like to bring lots of things when we come to program, but we want to try to condense it as much as possible. We're looking to one bag, hopefully one that'll fit into your locker. That way we don't have so much extra stuff around. One, it's a tripping hazard, but two, things carry germs. And so the less things that we have here, the less possibility for that germ transfer. It's essentially what it is. These are some examples of the health screening form that you would have to fill out prior to coming on site. So you'll have to fill one out every time you come on site, which I know could be really repetitive, but it's really important that we fill these things out. One, again, it's just to make sure that you're doing a self-check. How are you feeling? Is me going to program something I should be doing today? Should I wait? Should I, just go tomorrow? Like I said, our coaches fill out the same thing as well. And so again, it's just so we can constantly, check in, make sure that you guys are doing well. You get asked a few more questions when you get here on site, but we just like to make sure, we cross our T's and dot our I's is really what it is. So what will Android do to create a safe facility? We all want to come back. We're all ready for it, but how do we do that? And how do we do it safely? That's what the question is. So one, like I mentioned, we're going to do temperature checks. When you come on site, we're going to check your temperature. We want to make sure that you're within range. We're going to do that for staff. We're going to do that for you. It's just that one extra precaution, layer in addition to the questions that you would be answering. We have PPE and masks on site. So making sure that it's easily accessible, the coaches know where it's at. If for some reason a member forgets their mask or it breaks or something happens because we were upset, that's fine. We have extras here. If you want to pack extras in their bag, you could do that too. But we'll have plenty of PPE. We've got lots of gloves, gowns. We even have N95s if we need them. So we're definitely prepared. We're going to make sure that we're cleaning and disinfecting. We want to make sure that we're wiping down the tables and the chairs and the light switches and the doorknobs and all of the stuff that we've touched, just making sure we're giving a good extra wipe down to ensure that things are clean and ready to go for the next session. And with that, I know we share a lot of items here, whether it be markers or pipe cleaners or even, cooking utensils, things like that. We are going to do our best in terms of art supplies and things to kind of have everybody have their own set of things. So like this is Esther's markers and these are Beverly's markers. And so that way, really, I'm the only one using my markers and Esther is the only one using her markers, just to ensure that, there isn't too much, cross-contamination, essentially, of people touching a lot of things. And that way we can wipe it down. We can even get our members used to wiping things down after they've used them. That's essentially what the goal is for this to be more of like a teamwork type of thing. It's just, it's the new world we live in. We're going to try to social distance as much as possible. In some instances, it's not possible. We understand when we're in the restroom and we're helping with changes, sometimes it's not possible. Or when somebody needs some hand-over-hand prompting for something that they're trying to accomplish, we understand that that's not possible. But if we can try to mitigate it as much as possible to make those other smaller instances like okay, then that's what our goal is. Again, that's why we're working in smaller groups. We want to utilize the building. We want to make sure that we have, one group working in one room and another group working in another room. So that way it's smaller, it's less exposure risk, and it gives us space to kind of spread out and work a little bit safer as well. Like I mentioned, we'll still have snack time. I like snack time, you like snack time. Snack time's not going anywhere. We'll have designated eating spaces. We'll also utilize the outdoor space as much as we possibly can. Again, that's a space where we can take off our mask, feel a little bit of a relief there. So the same thing in terms of meals. Obviously, you'll be able to take off your mask for those types of things, but you'll have like a designated eating space, and we'll make sure that things are spread out in terms of members, so that way we're not all crowded into one area. So again, I know this was a lot of information. There will be an email coming to you that has all of this health and wellness information. It's like the whole document. You can read through it. So if you have any additional questions after today, feel free to give me a call, email me, text me, whatever works for you. I'd be happy to answer those questions. I will send you the health and wellness agreement though. If you are interested in returning to in-person services, like on site, sign the health and wellness agreement, send it back to me. That's my telltale sign that you're ready to go. If for whatever reason you want to hold off on a bit and maybe wait till the new year to really start things, that's okay. You don't need to send me the health and wellness agreement. I'll probably check in with you later this week and we can create a plan from there. In addition to that email that will have the health and wellness agreement, I'm going to send out a link that allow you to schedule that preview day. Again, it's like a 30-minute session. It's like that tour again, where you get to come in, see a program, and ask some questions, and we get to kind of follow up on some other things. That link will also be sent out in an email, so that way you could just kind of, it's going to be real simple. You'll just click a time. I'll know that you're coming. I'll call you to confirm. We'll be ready to go. And then that's how we start. That's what happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this out. And then, Donnie, if we had any questions, I'd be happy to answer some of those questions. And then we can kind of go from there.
Yeah, as of right now, there are no questions, but if you guys have, which means good job.
I'm that good, huh? All right.
You're that good. There are no
I'll see
questions,
you guys
but
later.
if you guys do have questions, go ahead and type it in the chat, or you could raise your hand and we could unmute you as we go.
Got a question, D?
Questions.
Go for it.
If I'm interested in coming back, would I have to be with would I have to, like, you know, would I have to be able to, you know, be like with the coach if I were able to come back and, you know, like do a certain activity?
That's a great question, D. So when you come back on site, it'll be similar to what it was like before. So you'll have a coach, you'll have a small group that you'll work with. I don't necessarily know who your coach would be. I would like to try to keep things the same as much as possible, but that might have to change.
Okay.
But yeah, you would be in a small group similar to what it was like beforehand.
Would I be with Tony, or would I be with Eric?
I'm not too sure, but I would try my hardest to keep it the same.
Okay.
That's a good question, Dee.
Thank you, Dee. I believe Angie has her hand raised. Pedro's sister, let me go ahead and unmute you.
I have a question regarding the questionnaire. You mentioned that they will have to fill it out on a daily basis. Now, Pedro doesn't read. So how is that established? Do we fill it out for him? Do you send me a bunch of them ahead of time so that I have them on a daily basis sent with him in the transport? Are we getting a transport back for him? I mean, that's my biggest concern, is transportation, as well as the need for reading. Obviously, he doesn't read.
Right.
So,
these are good questions. So actually the form is like a Google form. So it's actually something that I would have sent to you, you know, a few days before, and you would fill that out for him or with him like the day before he's going to be on site. So you're going to have a good idea as to whether or not, hey, Pedro, are you feeling well today? Are you coughing? You can ask him those types of questions, and then you can mark off the answers. You're obviously home with him as well, so you're going to have a pretty good pulse on where he's at health-wise, and so being able to fill that out. Again,
so there'll be digital forms then.
It'll be digital forms, yeah, and that'll be something that you'll be able to check off real simple. We want to try to keep this process as simple as possible. I agree, transportation is something that's been a little bit of a challenge in us trying to schedule these types of things. And so that's why it's really important, if you guys are showing interest and it's something that you guys want to do, we're going to email the service coordinators right away. So that way they can get going in terms of contacting Round Trip or Reliable or whomever it is, and getting them back into some sort of like bus routine once we've established what days work best for you in terms of coming back on site. The great thing is up until this point, we've been using your Round Trip services or your Reliable services. That's how your packages have been delivered. And so the services have continued. The contracts have like stayed good, I guess, for the lack of a better phrase. So now we're just putting you guys back on the bus is what the goal is. So we'll be communicating with the service coordinators and letting them know you guys are interested and ready to go. And I'm sure they'll call you guys to confirm these types of things as well. But we get to
will they be
addressing
the distancing issue? Because I know what Pedro had a couple of occasions that he had contact with the other members while on the bus. So will they address directly with us the 6-foot distancing issue, or?
I would hope so. I don't know offhand. That's more of a Round Trip question, but that's also something that we can talk with the service coordinators. I know that they've been in a lot more communication in terms of like what that process looks like for them. So we can definitely contact them and get back to you in terms of any of that information. I would hope so. I know they're doing some temperature checks, kind of implementing those processes. And so I would hope that it's a little bit more of a reduced ratio on the bus as well. But again, I can confirm with the service coordinators and we can go from there.
Yeah, because that's my biggest concern is, like I said, we
Agreed.
had with the lack of distancing, because they had issues with Pedro during the bus rides a couple of times where there was contact by one or the other, vice versa, so
Right.
I want to make sure that doesn't happen anymore, especially considering the
No, that
COVID
makes sense.
situation,
Absolutely.
So, okay, and then once you email us those other letters, we just go ahead and fill them out and we'll address. So we don't necessarily, are you planning on getting the class? I'm sorry, I got in a little bit later.
No, you're okay.
So was that planning on starting this month or early in January? Do we have a start date anytime soon?
Our goal is we've started the assessments this month. Our goal is to have them all completed by next month. So those preview days, signing this paperwork, setting up a schedule, and hopefully we're consistent by the end of January. That's what our goal is. As long as, the world permits, that's what what we're
Okay.
aiming for.
Yeah, so I know Pedro's looking forward to getting back out there. He loves
Same.
going. So I'm sure he's excited, but my concern was the questionnaires, because obviously he doesn't read it. I'm like,
Right,
okay, so.
right,
But if they're
understandable.
digital, then I can do them for him. My
Mhm.
sister Jessica, I think, is online with us too. And so she is just as helpful with me in helping care for my brother. So we should be okay.
Perfect. Yeah, tag team.
Yeah.
I did have one question submitted. It wants to asking if Zoom meetings would continue as we start these in-person services. Yes, so we'll be doing these things like a hybrid, so they'll be happening simultaneously. So you'll have 2 days on site, that's what our goal is, and then you would have 3 days remotely. Ultimately, our goal is to get to a point where we're here, 5 days a week on site for 4 hours, but it's not something we can just jump into right away. And so we're going to be operating kind of in this hybrid space, at least for the next few months, as we get back to just building up those routines and things again. So it will continue as hybrid. Like I said before, I have a few that just aren't ready to start in-person services, and that's totally okay. You'll just be on Zoom for 5 days. That's not a problem at all.
Yeah.
That's you.
And okay, Paulo had a question. He asked, are we going to sign the health wellness agreements, and once we return, makes our face mask going to be required?
So you'll sign the health and wellness agreement today. I'll send that over to you guys. And then when you are on site, you guys will need to wear a face mask when you guys are here. Again, I know that's a little bit of a challenge for some of us, but it's something that we're going to be working on. We've just found that that's the best way to, do things safely and mitigate as much exposure as possible. Kristen, I see that you have a hand raised. Give me 1 second. Want to go ahead and ask your question?
Yeah, I was wondering if I could see Zoe again. You said she isn't a coach anymore, but I was wondering if I was still good to see her again.
Shelby, the program director. Shelby, the coach, is still here. You
Oh,
get to
good.
see her. Nothing has changed in terms of that, but Shelby, the program director, it's also still here. She's just not in the program director capacity. She's helping us out with some more like office behind the scene tasks that need to be done.
Thank you. I was just wondering.
No worries. Good question.
And then Connie asked, which I think you already addressed, Bev, but the ETA to start in person we're aiming towards the end of January, correct?
Cody is on my high priority list, as we've talked about already. So I know we've got his annual this week, and so I'm hoping to schedule something very soon for him. I see you chasing him down. Yeah, that's how you stay fit, huh? You're just constant walking.
Are there any more questions? Oh, Felisa, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, because right now we don't have any plans for her to go back to your on-site.
Mhm.
So what happens if there's only her who is not returning there? There will be no more Zoom?
The chances of that happening anytime soon are very slim. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I've already have a handful that, are asking to stay on remote services. And so I'm gonna make sure that, Felice is getting the quality programming that she wants and the quality programming that fits her needs. And we wanna make sure that she feels safe when she eventually does come back, or if she chooses to remain online for a little bit longer. We're gonna try to maintain that for as long as possible.
So how do you meet each individual's needs if it is Zoom? Say for just example, on her side, like it's me, my preference. I want her to learn more on counting,
Mhm.
but the other person also wants to learn something and something. How do you budget the time that each member has benefited from whatever she needs? You know what I'm saying?
No,
Because
that makes sense.
in the Zoom, there's like, let's just say 5 people. Each 5 people has individual needs. How do you divide the time? Like, I will spend 10 minutes for this topic, but the other four people have different needs. How do you equally give them their share? How do you
Right.
do that?
So when we put the groups together, we try to think through the types of goals that they're working on. We try to keep things as similar, consistent as we can. But also that's also why we jumped, we went from Zoom from being an hour to an hour and a half, because it gives our coaches a little bit more time to, have that space to work on goal specific things with each of the members. I will credit our coaches though. They're really great at understanding what each of the members' goals are and planning activities that incorporate each of those things. And so it could be as simple as maybe a cooking class, whereas Feliza is reading through the measurements and counting how many cups of something that she needs, whereas another member is learning how to take turns and waiting and understanding that, okay, Feliza is talking now, I'm going to talk after her. And so it's being able to incorporate all of those different skills into the activities and being aware of like what it is that they're trying to work on at each time. I would say the coaches are pretty good at doing those types of things. And so that's usually how the hour is, managed. Again, if you find that you want some more extra time on certain things, let us know and we'll see what we can do in terms of, sending some extra materials and things as well to give Feliza the extra practice that, you both want.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Angie, do you have another question? Okay, go for it.
Just one more question. Pedro would loved going on his little tours to the different places that you get the stores and blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
He loved that stuff. Are you guys gonna be venturing back to that for the, where they're on site or? And
Not
at
right
all?
away.
right
That'll
away,
be something
okay.
that we'll be working towards. Again, it's us navigating what the world looks like now too. So in LA County, there's one rules, and in Orange County, there's another set of rules. And so in some places we have to show a vaccination card, in other places we don't. And so we're gonna navigate that when we get down there a little bit closer. But as of right now, our main focus is just getting our members on site, getting them to be here for a few hours, again, building those types of routines, getting used to just being here. And then eventually we're looking to get back into the community, but it won't happen right away.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Oh, there's another question.
Hi.
Here we go. Hello. Oh,
Hi.
Hi, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
This is Lawrence's niece,
Hi.
April. Hi, I'm taking care of him. And I'm just wondering, are you guys requesting that he be vaccinated? Because he's not vaccinated at this time.
So just to kind of take a step back, all of our staff are required to be vaccinated. That's
Okay.
come down from
Okay.
LA Department of Health, CDC, all of that, licensing, all of the people that we get to work with. In terms of members, however, it's not required. And so no discrimination in terms of those things. We're going to operate like normal. We request, if you have been vaccinated, just to give us your vaccination card or like proof of it, because some of the licensing, when they've come in to do audits and things, they'll ask for those types of things if they are on file. They definitely ask for the coaches because it's something that's required of us, but it's not required of the members. And so we're just operating, business as usual in terms of that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Just checking.
No problem.
I believe Ian, let me see.
You have a question, Ian?
Wash your hands.
Washing hands when we're at program?
Yes.
You're going to show Eric how it's done? You've been practicing? That's right.
But
Ian, we're gonna
Vanessa's
have to-
already practicing washing her hands.
You guys are killing it. Yeah, we'll have to make sure that we wash our hands frequently when we're at program to make sure that there's no germs.
Mm-hmm.
Good question, Ian.
Okay. Okay. Kathleen, hi. How are you?
Good on yourself.
I'm doing good. What is your question?
I want to ask, okay, so if they're not required to be vaccinated, do they still have to show that they're not, positive? bring in documentation of that?
So this is where those like self-checks come into play
Okay,
each time
okay.
that they come in.
Oh, okay.
That's why that's why you got to fill it out before you come in. That's why you ask them the
Right.
questions when you guys
Okay.
come on site. And so you get to
Okay.
you answer, quite a few times.
Okay.
And again, our coaches are trained on things to look for. And so again, if somebody's not feeling well, we go immediately into like our isolation, protocols and doing those types of things. But our hope is that we're doing those self-checks at home and really gauging how we're feeling before coming on site.
Okay, and because I'm doing this with my grandson, and he's into middle school, and some kids have showed up at the school positive. And then before you know it, your kid has to stay at home because they're doing what they're supposed to do. And then, I'm not knocking nobody, no parent or nothing like that, but the kids wind up at school, then your child has to stay at home until, to self-vaccinate, even if they have not shown any signs. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, so our goal is to, if we're doing those self-checks, so we don't have to go into that protocol often. That's what the hope is. Again, if you guys start to feel any signs or symptoms, making sure that you're recognizing that you're staying home. If we're at program, we do the things that we need to do. Again, if you guys end up being, positive, whether it be a coach or a member, just making sure that you let us know right away. So that way we can, contact whoever needs to be contacted. If you were in the group the day before, what have you, and just making sure that we're going through those protocols properly. My goal is just I don't want that to happen, but we have protocols in place if it does happen. You know what I mean?
And if I could just add to that, it's important that we also remember it's a group effort of even if it's the slightest sneeze or like you have a runny nose, we're not doctors, we don't know what it is. So it's better to be safe than sorry. So if you know that your member has is sneezing here and there or has a runny nose, like it's better to stay home than coming to program and possibly being unsafe for your members' safety, but also for the rest of the members and as well as our staff. Destiny asks, will we still go out to fun places like we did before?
Destiny, that's a great question. My goal is to eventually get there. It won't happen right away, but I'm hoping by mid next year or so, we'll be able to do those types of things. But first things first, we want to get you on site. We want to get you here for a few hours each week, and then kind of build from there. That's a good question. That's what we all want. We're going to get there. This is step one. Any other questions? Are you guys excited? Does this news excite you? There's a question for you. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. I'll take it. All right, all right.
I don't have any more questions in the
Any
chat.
other questions? Oh, Mr. Casanas.
Yes. So you're gonna have a morning shift and a afternoon shift. So Andres will be coming in like 2 times a week. Would it be like a Tuesday and a Thursday or Monday and Wednesday? How's that gonna
Don't
work?
know offhand. It could be alternating like that. It could even be like a Tuesday, Wednesday. It just kind of depends on how the scheduling falls. But because he is an AM member, he would remain in the AM. So he's looking at an 8:30 to 11:30 time slot twice a week. When we get a little bit closer to scheduling, then we'll be able to know which days of the week we're coming in. But again, it just goes based off of, have I gotten the health and wellness agreements? Have we been able to arrange, transportation? But also annual physicals, I need to make sure that those are all updated. And so if you guys have sent them in already, great. If you haven't, please make sure that you do so, because that's important, especially as we monitor for any type of med changes. Again, it's been a long 2 years, and so I'm sure we've experienced some changes, and just making sure that we're all on the same page with those types of things.
So are you gonna be sending a paperwork or an email so we can go to the doctor, he can sign it off?
I can. I know that one was sent out a few months ago when our nurse was still here. But if you need a new one, I could do that. That's not a problem at all.
Yeah, definitely. You guys are working a lot different than my other son's program.
Mhm.
They're actually going to start 3 days a week starting next week.
Mhm.
They already have they come and pick my other son 3 times a week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and they go out on the to the city, around. They go shopping. They do walk. They don't ride no one's car,
Mhm.
or they take the bus, and they do wear the mask. But now they called me yesterday and they told me that Monday is going to be their first day in the place. So Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then on Tuesdays and Thursdays they'll have the internet.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so you guys are going to go. It's going to take you guys into the end of January to start going into the place 2 times a week.
My goal is that it happens sooner than that. Is what my hope is, but I need to make sure that I give space to kind of reassess everybody. Like I said, we've been at home for a while and some of our members experience a lot of change. And so just getting them on site and being able to assess their needs and, is this the right kind of programming? Is twice a week something that we can do? I just want to make sure that I give us like a good enough timeline to where we can do those types of things. But if we end up doing them faster, great. I know that's what we all want, but I just want to make sure that we're, giving ourselves a little bit of grace in that type of timeline as well.
Yeah, one of the problems where I'm having with Andres is he's telling me that, oh, I don't want to go back to the day program. I just don't want to go back no more. I want to stay home forever.
Mhm.
And I think he's just saying that because I'm pretty sure once the bus comes in,
He gets
and
there, gets going again.
yeah,
Mhm.
and he's done really good with the coaches when he was on one-on-one,
Mhm.
and now he's in the group, and I see him enjoying the program. He's there for an hour and a half.
Mhm.
It's amazed because before he wouldn't even do 15 minutes.
I know we've really hit a milestone with him, definitely. And so, I mean, when we talk about coming back on site, the goal is, then we have those conversations with Andres, and is this something that you want? And getting him on site and being able to try things out, and kind of going from there is what the goal is.
I understand his fear. He's been, like you said, 2 years, and to go back is kind of like not that he's scared of getting sick, because I myself have to go to the VA every Friday and
Mhm.
get tested for COVID, even though that I already have been vaccinated. But I go for other programs during the week. So every Friday I got to go get tested. And so I'm okay for the next week because I'm in and out of the VA constantly. I know that I'm okay, and if I'm okay, and then my family at home is okay, as we don't go too many places, and we wear a mask when we are out.
Right.
And definitely we wash our hands, I created my own hand sanitation baby wipe type of thing. Um, um, Being in the military, you learn how to do things for cleanliness, and when you need to.
Right.
So I appreciate it that you guys are working their way back into getting our kids back in the program. I know right now there's a lot of fear of things going on, but I'm pretty sure like for next year it's going to move real quick.
Our hope.
The state's going to move, especially the LA County is going to change their routine, all the restriction. Like you said, Orange County has one restriction and LA had We go to Orange County for like the second Saturday of every month for a bowling with an artistic group. And over there, we don't have to wear a mask. We can go to, anywhere without wearing masks. And over here, we have to wear a mask. So it's back and forth, but they wear a mask when they go to bowling, and they clean their hands with sanitizer before and after, and especially before they eat, so we can keep a routine. I know he wears a mask. He has no problem wearing a mask. I know some other kids might have problems. So, but I look at it. This is a learning experience that we have to learn after 2 years being away.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think this is really good feedback. Becky, I see that you have a question.
No, it numbs, but it's got a lot of things in there. Oh.
I'm ready for you, Becky.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
So he got the TB, and you need that papers, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, so yeah, we just went and got that, and then Shane, stop. And then we'll send that in.
That sounds great. Yeah, just send it over, and I can put it on file, and you're all good to go.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Sorry, Mama. Shane, did you have a different question from your mom? Here, I'm gonna unmute you.
Yes.
What was your question, Shane?
Yeah, what was your question?
Look at me, look at them. Ask.
What I say?
Jamie, you already said, can you sit with your friends or whatever?
Can I sit with my friends?
When you come back to on the program?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There might be a little bit more space on the table, but you'll definitely be able to talk with your friends and hang out and do all that good stuff. That's what our hope is.
My Lamar.
Lamar will be there, yes.
Yeah. I want to hang out with him.
Well, I'll see if we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still in Eric's group.
You are right now, but when you come back on site, there might be some changes. I want to keep things the same as much as possible, but we also need to be open to, there might be some adjustments when we get here based on scheduling and stuff. So that's what my goal is.
Yeah, that's fine.
Awesome.
Thank you, Shane.
Thank
Darren,
you.
I think your hand was up. Let me.
Oh yeah.
Darren, did you have a question?
Yes, I did.
What's up, D?
Will I be able to do like like shows or anything during that time?
Being able to like watch your YouTube stuff or
No, like sing, be in the band.
Oh yeah, man, you could always be in the band.
Yeah, no. Will I be able to do shows and stuff, and will I be able to bring Shane into the studio with me, and so he can record some?
Yeah, definitely. We just want to make sure we might be using like a bigger space for it, but we could definitely do those types of things. And then we'll just be, wiping stuff down.
Yeah. And also, I was thinking we can do like a welcome back tour.
Oh, it's a good idea.
Yeah, we should. I could have myself, Shane, and we can do some like recording, and then maybe DJ can help me with the.
Yeah, we could talk to DJ. We could even talk to Scott and stuff and see what we can do for you. Okay, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, man. Kristen, it looks like you got a question. Go for it. Oh.
Oh.
What was your question, Kristen?
I was wondering if I was still good to be with Shelby in her group again.
Yeah, as long as you stay online right now, it would be with Shelby. There won't be any changes, but there might be some changes later on down the road. But as of right now, tomorrow, it'll be the same.
Okay, I was just wondering.
No worries. Good question.
Thanks, Barley.
I did have one follow-up question. So the preview day is like a 30-minute session. And so you guys will be here. You'll be here with your member. So that way we can do, again, like that like tour-esque type of situation. Eventually, when we've done that though, and we're back on site and we have that consistent programming, those sessions will be 3 hours long. So when you guys sign up for your preview day, it's only 30 minutes, but that's just because we want to make sure we see everybody, we assess, we do all the good stuff. And then eventually when we schedule those consistent days, you guys will be here for 3 hours. So just want to make that clear.
All right. So I just got one question that my dad wants me to do, and that is, when are we going to get back to the program?
Great. So when you sign this health and wellness agreement, Paolo, that lets me know that you're ready to go. And so that way we'll be able to start the process. So you sign the agreement, then you sign up for your preview day, and then you come for your preview day, and then we put your game plan together, and then we start to schedule from there. So it all just depends on how quickly we can get through those other things.
Are you going to email the whole process?
Yes, I am. I will email the health and wellness as well as a link to schedule your preview day.
Okay. Beverly, my mom has a question for you.
Sure
Hi,
thing.
Lamar.
Hi, Shane. Okay. Beverly, I think I miss when you guys gonna start the program. They're gonna go to the program. Is that next month already?
So my goal is to have everybody assessed by next month. We can hopefully have some consistent days in there before then, but we want to make sure that everybody has signed their health and wellness agreement, that their physical's up to date, and they've come in for their
Okay.
preview day, and then we'll be able to set up like specific days and times from that point on. So again, it just kind of depends on how quickly we can get through those things.
Okay, so are you gonna send it to email, or are you gonna
Yes.
send the paper?
Yes, I will send it email.
Okay. Okay then. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
No problem. Great question.
Beverly, I have a question.
What's up, Omar?
Am I still gonna be in Eric's group?
I'm gonna try really hard to keep you and Eric together. I know the bromance is real, so but be open. If change has to happen, then we have to be open to those things too, okay?
That's
I
my boy.
understand, Beverly. Hi, Eric.
Thanks for
Hi,
understanding,
Eric.
Lamar. Any other questions?
Hi, Darren.
D says, what's up?
Hi, Darren.
He's muted. Hold on, Shane. Go ahead, D.
Hey, buddy. How
Hi,
you doing?
hi, Darren.
Hey.
Oh, what?
Any other questions? I want to make sure that I didn't miss anybody. Again, if anything comes to mind, you could always call or email me, text me, whatever works. I know as you guys are probably reading through the document, might need some clarification or what have you. I'd be happy to give that to you. We all good? Am I that good? Is that what it is? We're that clear? It's because we're all excited. That's what it is. You too.
Oh, Becky has a question.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Becky.
Is the document in our email?
One more time.
The documents that you're talking about that we have to fill out, is it in our emails?
It will be later on today. I haven't sent it out yet.
Okay, okay, perfect. Okay, thanks.
No problem. It'll be sent through a Hello Sign, so it'll be really easy to sign. It's like a digital signature. Again, if you need a paper copy for whatever reason, just let me know and I can make that happen as well. Oh, okay.
Right.
Hi, Irma.
Hi, I have a question. I'm really not comfortable sending Marina to program yet.
Okay.
Will she lose her place in the program?
No, she'll just be operating on remote services in the time being. So she'll just continue to do Zoom. That's what that'll look like for her. Like I said, I have a few others that are in the same boat that are just kind of waiting things out, especially as we
Especially
approach
with
flu
this new
season
virus,
and
the going on, the Omicron. I'm not comfortable sending her.
that's totally understandable. We want to make sure that you guys feel ready. We're just trying to kind of put in the structure for us to start this stuff. But when the time comes and you feel ready to do it, the structure will be there and we'll be able to insert her in there. But as of right now, she'll just stay remote, stay on Zoom. That's not a problem at all.
Okay. I wouldn't mind if you guys increased it to 2 hours for her. She likes being in the Zoom.
That's good. I'm glad that she enjoys it. Right now, it's going to stick with an hour and a half. But again, as maybe we get more members on site, we're kind of be able to kind of even things out. Maybe we'll be able to increase that. But for right now, it'll just kind of have to stay the same as we, navigate bringing members on site.
Oh, okay.
But I hear you. I know that's like the number one request.
No. Really,
I'm glad she likes it. That's good.
She likes it, yeah, she likes it, but she keeps asking when it's going to be safe for her to go back, and I go, it's not safe.
That's good. Yeah.
Things are not getting very good. I think they're getting worse. With all the new virus, that's terrible. But okay, I'm glad that she's not going to lose her place.
Oh, not at all.
If she does, I mean, there's nothing we can do, but
I want her here just as much as you want her here. So
yeah, I know she wants to be there too, but I'm not comfortable.
That's understandable.
I want her to be very safe, for her, for the other members.
Agreed.
For you guys.
Agreed.
Okay, so it's not safe yet, but you're not going to lose your.
Any other questions? Angie, do you have another one?
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
Sorry.
No, you're
Meaning
okay.
that she was mentioning the whole not feeling safe. I'm ready to send Pedro back. I know he wants to, but let's suppose there becomes an issue. Well, what is the process if having to pull back if we decide to remote him back to the Zoom only instead? If there's an issue, what would the protocol be for that?
Sure. So if you guys end up trying out the in-person services, we're like a month in and you realize, I don't really know about this, or who knows what happens in the world, we would just revert back and go back to remote services, and we would just put them back onto Zoom. So that's why we're trying to do these things at the same time, because we recognize, one, we're only going to be on site twice a week. So what are we going to do the rest of the week? So Zoom has to continue, but we have a handful who aren't ready to come back on site, which is totally understandable. So we want to make sure that we maintain Zoom services for them. And again, if something were to happen and we'd have to shut down again, at least we have Zoom services and we all know how that goes. And so we just go back into that process essentially. So it would just be communicating with us.
But we're not contracted or restricted that we have to stay within the on-site. We can go back if we choose to at any point.
Yes. My only ask is that it's not 1 week on site, 1 week Zoom only, 1 week. Like if we don't flip flop between that, I would like to keep things as consistent for the members as well as the coaches as possible. But I do recognize that sometimes things change and, we need to make different decisions later on, and that's totally fine. And if that comes down to it, it's just letting me know, and then we make those adjustments and we put him where he needs to be. That's not a problem at all.
Okay.
And I think just to clarify and reiterate, you could choose to stay on Zoom. If you do not feel comfortable bringing your member on site, you could choose to stay on Zoom and be remote for 5 days. You don't have to come in person. Oh, you guys froze.
No, we're here.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
No problem. Mar, you got another question? Go for it, man.
Yeah. Beverly, can I give it to Feliza when I go back?
Now, Lamar, is that a question you should be asking right now, or is that a question we ask later?
Ask later. It's her Christmas gift.
All right. Well, don't tell her now.
Okay.
Any other health and wellness related questions? No? All right. You guys asked some really great questions today. I really appreciate your attendance here. I know it's been a long process, but I think we've done it the safest way possible. And so I'm really proud of the things that we've done up until this point. And I'm just really excited for this new phase that we're going into. And I'm excited to see some of our members on site again. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Kathleen, I think your hand is up.
Kathleen, yes.
I'm gonna have to leave. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so
you're
much.
great. Thank you so much.
It's been great. You guys have a great day.
Thank you so much.
You too.
I'm going to have to leave too, okay?
Alrighty, I think
But I
that
want to thank you
means
so much for attending the meeting.
great job,
I
Paolo. You
can't
did
wait to tell my
fantastic.
mom about it, okay?
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Bye.
We'll see you guys
See
later.
ya.
Bye.